Hello. Hello. It's been a while. Just setting up my screen here. I got a new laptop. Hey, Debbie, Barry, Mark. How's it going? Hey, Hunter. How's it going? Set up the chat here properly because can't find a way to type into it. All right. Just wanted to pop online. It's been a while. Finally got my live streaming rights back after a strike that I couldn't get rid of because I deleted the video associated with it, and YouTube doesn't allow you to appeal a strike when you've deleted the video. So I made a mistake 3+ months ago and finally got my live streaming back after waiting 3 months. So it's good to be back a little bit. Just kind of starting to review, not starting, I started, I guess, yesterday or maybe the day before, digging into the evidence. I know a lot of people are going through this stuff. I wanted to go and read everything myself as well. A lot of great work being done. I know Mr. Burgundy's put out, I don't know, maybe 3+ videos on stuff that he's found already, or stuff that he's identified that's wrong. One thing that we've noticed, that I've noticed in starting to go through this, is that a lot of these documents point to other evidence that we have not yet received. So other evidence, and according to the LVMPD PIO, the Public Information Office, this is the last release. So if that doesn't cause confusion to you, I question your connection to reality. But I think everybody is in agreement that this can't be the last release. So we may see a continued court battle to get it, and maybe we'll have to take some other action as a community to get them to pony up, so to say. Hey, Diane. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Diane. I've only got through the first 3 documents. Alan says, I hope to get them through them all soon. Yeah, I'm about the same, Alan. Some of the documents are really short, and some of them are quite hefty. This one is the officer's report, and it's 105 pages. The first X number of pages, let's see, the first 68 pages or so really just talk about the victims. You can see the last page 68 here is victim number 58, and it counts all the way up to the various victims. So they kind of list out each individual victim information. So I kind of skipped past that for now, and I'm starting to dig into these other reports. Paid a hefty price. Oh, yes. Say, what do you mean by that? Yeah, Melissa Ramirez is 29. Let's see. Yeah, looks like Melissa Ramirez for sure. Wait, body was far north end of the parking lot, south of the meeting room entrance, adjacent to a light-colored metal shipping container. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, for my mistake. Yeah, hefty price. Well, and I'm glad to see that uh, YouTube and both YouTube and Twitter are making some changes or have made some changes. I know for sure YouTube, and I know Twitter's reviewing it to kind of back off their punishments for things like strikes, or on Twitter you can get like temporarily banned or your account can be disabled temporarily, and they're kind of backing off. I think they've realized that just like they've been too strict with it, too punishing, and it's caused people to be either upset with their platform or just to move away from it, and it's caused a number of other platforms to spring up. So I think just as far as business decisions go, I think they've just decided to make a sound business decision and back off those bans a little bit to make it easier for people to come back after figuring out what their mistake was. So I'm kind of happy to see that. I think that free speech on the internet is it's important, not only in America but I think in the world, and I think it's going to continue to be important over the next couple of years. It'll be interesting to see how things kind of pan out. But if these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they want to stay around, I mean, they've got to consider what that's going to take. And serves video chat. Yeah, I haven't watched any NSerf stuff as of late. I kind of lost interest when he started putting on wigs. He's a goofy guy. He's like somebody I wouldn't mind meeting in real life, but he's very what would you say, polarizing individual. And a lot of people in this community are like that. I tend to try to bring people together rather than to polarize them, but that's just kind of my personality as well. Yeah, I think Laura Loomer's actions with Twitter and stuff like that, I think they played a part. I think the whole Alex Jones thing and making it very in the public eye, kind of what they were doing, and then them being accused of kind of a bipartisan or a partisan targeting, conservatives, I think had something to do with it. The last thing they want to do is be like Twitter or even Facebook or YouTube is to be thought of as a partisan type place to go, because then they lose a good portion of their customers, and that's what we all are on these platforms. They're customers. Actually, we're their product, but we won't talk too much about that. Yeah, Diane. That's an understatement, Weg. Lots of polarizing people. Yeah, I'm just trying to be nice. There are a lot of polarizing people. And not only that, like polarizing people, but I think there are some polarizing ideas. I certainly have some polarizing theories, but I don't typically share those in a wider audience. I think that we're best benefited a lot of times by trying to come together, and then sharing ideas is okay, but trying to stand ground on those, I think, is counterproductive a lot of times. There's enough for us to collaborate on and to agree on. There's enough out there for that, to where we don't even have to go into the polarizing stuff. I mean, like as far as Alan goes, Alan's a polarizing character. He's here, but I think that there's a lot of common ground with what Alan, how Alan approaches this whole thing, and myself and a lot of other people, even people that I think Alan disagrees with. I think there's a lot of common ground still. It's just those kind of more fringe ideas where we disagree. get back down to this page. One of the things I really don't like, and I see this a lot, is I don't know if I can highlight this, is where they say they conducted an audio. Oh, maybe I can't highlight that. Yeah, it won't let me highlight it. But where they conducted an audio recorded interview, but yet they haven't provided the audio. I think that there's value in us having those audio recordings, not just the transcripts, because a lot is lost when you put what somebody's saying over their voice onto paper. A lot of tonality, when they pause, hesitate, when they speak rapidly, when there's emotion behind it, all that's lost when a transcribed interview. And I understand why they transcribe things, but I also would find value in those audio recorded interviews. I'd love to have everything that was audio recorded. That would represent a large amount of redaction that would need to take place on LVMPD's side. Hang on just one second. I'm going to go on mute here. I got a phone call coming in. All right, I'm back. A lot of people are watching. I don't want to make this even though this is my first live stream in a long time. I don't want to make it too long. I'm not going to do a 4-hour NServe live stream. I don't think actually YouTube will let me do that. Maybe now that I've got my strike taken away, they might. But I do want to make this kind of short, just kind of get people back together, let you know I'm here, and mostly just say hi. Hope you're having a great weekend. If you do have anything that's directed towards me, I would appreciate it if you put the @ symbol and then my name, or type it all in caps or something like that so it jumps out. I know other channels have done that. That's helpful. As I'm kind of like managing different screens here. And I'm not a very good multitasker, although I try it a lot. Yeah, 1,800 pages. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything with that number, but when if the FBI puts out a final report, I would expect it to be quite hefty. I agree, Alan. I don't suspect the audio will be released either unless it's specifically requested. And if it's requested by one of us, like a member of the community, probably gonna have to pay for it. But LVMPD does have a policy, the PIO has a policy to where you can inspect some evidence on site. So it's possible that one of us could maybe arrange something to go down there and actually listen to it, but then, we're not gonna be able to provide that out to the rest of the community. I'm not sure there's a ton of value unless there's a specific recording where we need additional context. It might have value then, and somebody could go and then report back. I don't. I mean, to the question of will LVMPD put out another report? I'm no. I don't. I think the answer is clearly no. They put out the final report. That was their final report. Now they're just dumping evidence. So I don't think there's going to be any more reports that they assemble together. As much can't be said for the FBI though, since Rouse effectively said that a full report will be coming out. Although Rouse did say that the report would be available via FOIA request, which is different than the response that I received back from the FBI directly from my request, which said that they would be dumping information to their archive site, which is called the FBI Vault. And LBSA pointed out to me, though, that what I'd requested in that FOIA request was only information related to Stephen Paddock. So it's possible we could see something related to Paddock only that goes up onto the FBI vault, and that other things will be available via FOIA. But my suspicion is that due to the number of requests, it's not just us that are requesting those things. Many news agencies and probably a lot of legal teams, legal offices are also requesting that. I think that it's in the FBI's best interest just to put everything that they have up on the vault, just because it's going to be a lot less work for them to have to divvy it out. If they just dump it all there, then they can just direct people to go there to get the information. Yeah, I don't think nothing more from the LVMPD. Although I think the LVMPD, the fact that they went back and provided this evidence gives me hope that they might do that again in the future. That they might go back and say, "Hey, we have even more evidence. We found more." Whatever. So I don't think this is the end of the evidence they'll dump. I do think that they'll dump more, but when, how that will come about, I have no idea. I'm not sure I have that. I'm signed into a different account here at LVSA. I'm not sure I have that list handy. If you want to send it to me again, let me think how you can do that. And you might just have to post it in the chat. By the way, is the chat set on slow mode right now? Has anybody had any problems posting? If you'll just let me know. If not, I'll just leave it the way it is. If you are having problems, though, I can go in and adjust that. Everybody's being pretty cool right now, so. Okay. LBSA says he received the same email regarding his FOIA request for the final report. So, yeah, it sounds like that's pretty much confirming what I thought, was that they'll post it. The FBI will post all of their information to their website, to their vault. The list is too long to post here. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up another window here. Did you send it to me via wire? LVSA? If so, then I can probably log in and pull that. Seems fine. Okay, thanks, Alan. log into Wire Online, it doesn't show me the chat history because it's all encrypted, I guess. Unfortunately. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. Maybe I can copy and paste it. If you hear music in the background, like really low, that's because I live in Las Vegas and there's a party going on outside. Such is the life of a Las Vegan, apparently. Yeah, it's not going to let me copy and paste it, but I can kind of go through the list you sent me. So LVSA sent me a list. I mean, if I can just go through this, a lot of it is like photographs. Yeah, a number of photographs that we've never received. Photographs of the Coca-Cola suites, of the Vegas Village, photographs of the hallway, photographs taken of broken pieces of black firearm magazine and 4 cartridges near Gate 2. It must have been a cops magazine, is all I can think of. Photographs of southwest corner of venue and sketches of the hallway. So none of that. I mean, there's just the list is just it's long and growing. So we'll keep that all documented, and then hopefully we'll be able to go make use of that at some point. Yeah, missing photographs of things we didn't even know were photographed, Ouija. Thanks. Yep, absolutely. I mean, we're just missing the entirety of all of the photographs, right? I want the high res versions of all of the crime scene photographs. We've got the low res versions that were put in the reports. Where's the high res versions? Might be something to request at some point. And the first file on the last page says Stephen Paddock had glasses on his head with no glasses reported anywhere. Huh. Yeah, so I mean, it seems like everybody is working through these documents. I think everybody that has the bandwidth to do so, or bandwidth and interest to do so, should, and then continue to publish out, what you're finding, either in a YouTube video, pass it along to somebody that can make a video. Mr. Burgundy's been doing a great job, so he might be a great person to hand off things to. Or I'm trying to think who else is publishing videos about it. There are a couple other people that have talked about it a little bit. Hunter says door report 62217. Remind me which door that is. That's in the Four Seasons, right? Would be nice to see pics of shot up hallway. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just all of them, right? Or all of the photographs, I should say. Oh, it's the where Shaq went prior to or after, or prior to, right? So we can know the timestamp of when Shaq was there. Yeah. So, has anybody here finished reading all of the reports yet? I'm curious if anybody's been through all of them yet, read them all. I don't think that's the case, but I'd be interested if anybody's actually spent the time and effort yet. The door he tried to access on 32 after being shot at. Yeah. One of the biggest. Well, there are a couple of key pieces of evidence that we're still missing that are of most interest to me. One is the crime scene photos. I think that for me is highest on the list. Maybe followed by, or maybe even equal to, the surveillance footage from inside the venue grounds during the shooting. It would be. I mean, we have the rooftop security video, but I would like to see the inside venue footage to see um, how traffic moved, what the police response looked like, and then um, what happened with the exits and all that. When I started going through the evidence, one of the things I noticed was, and I was reading I started with the voluntary. Let me see what it was called. The voluntary statements by people that were at the concert. And one of the things I noticed was that a lot of those, I don't know if anybody's finished that, but it was one of the first things I read. And most of those actually had to do with reports of multiple shooters, which I thought was interesting. That those were some of the documents they forgot or delayed release on. I suspect maybe they pulled those out of the other records because they were still trying to track down, um, you know, if there were other shooters on the ground. I know there are multiple mentions in those documents about a group of people dressed all in black, 4 or 5 men, and the man at the back of and they were near I think the Excalibur, kind of all in single file line. And the last one had a rifle on him. Thought that was interesting. Hi, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of drama in the community. I just want to address that really quickly. I'm kind of anti-drama, and if you look back through my videos, I have some recommendations on how to avoid manipulation. I made a video about that. Also about fallacies, how to recognize and avoid fallacies. I am a strong proponent of staying very grounded. I think this is one of the common areas that Alan and I have. Is just like, stick with the facts. The facts are enough in this case. We can have theories that we have, and we can kind of hunt those down. Go down like 10 said. Kind of open the case on some of those theories that we have, and then close the case on them. But I think that it behooves us most to stick to talking about factual information rather than drama and interpersonal conflicts, things like that. I know we're all human, but I think it detracts from the task at hand. I think we see far too much of drama. I know that we went through periods of lack of evidence, lack of things to review, and I feel like that's when those kind of things rise up a lot. But it's also when I don't put out videos. I go quiet. Heaven's Gate. There were 11 new PDFs that came out on Wednesday, if that answers your question. They are available. There's a link in my last video. I might be able to actually grab it here for you and paste it into the chat. Stand by. There's a link for you. So yeah, there's 11 PDFs to review. They are, let me tell you what they are. So there are a crime scene investigation report, an evidence impound report, an incident crime report, a memorandum, an officer's report from homicide, an officer's report, a property report, 3 documents titled transcribed officer voluntary statements, and then another document which is just called voluntary statements other PD, and that's the one that has the kind of witness reports, voluntary witness reports. Yeah, that's all of them. Heaven's Gate. But it's more than just the 95-page report. If you saw my video, that was actually all 11 PDFs displayed on the screen. Hi, Judd Davis. Welcome. I haven't seen any new videos. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Alan. Are you talking about like cell phone videos that people took, or videos from LVMPD? No videos were included in this last release. It was batch number 35 is the most recent one. There was just 11 PDFs. Kind of a letdown opening the evidence drive to find that. Bullets found in the venue were, if there were bullets found in the venue of 9mm, my suspicion would be that those were spilled by a police officer. Police officers often carry a 9mm pistol. Yeah, I haven't seen a new video either, Alan. I mean, other than the community videos people have been putting out. My name is someone's sock account. Is that my name, Don? Or Alan's name? Alan D was right, I know, is a channel name. Something like that. Hi, Chrissy. I'm well. I'm well. Hopeful. Hopeful we'll discover more in these reports we already have. I think that obviously it's not closing any loops. It's really more opening a bunch more loops because of the evidence that we know that now that we don't have, that we didn't know that we didn't have before. But I'm hopeful that this and the forthcoming FBI report will provide some more answers. I think that if Heaven's Gate, to answer your question, which is so vague, you think it was officers' bullets? Question mark. Yeah, if there were bullets found in the venue that were unfired, so we're talking about like an unfired bullet, 9mm, then my suspicion would be that an officer spilled those. They were unfired. If we're talking about 9mm shell casings, that's a different story. I know when I walked around, here's something interesting that many of you may not know, especially those that haven't been to Vegas. So there is the field, or maybe a better way to say it is a dirt lot. So there's a dirt lot between the Route 91 venue, also known as the Vegas Village, between there and the fuel tanks. There's a dirt field. And I've walked in that dirt field a number of times, and there are shell casings in that dirt field. And then there was that sign that looked like it had been shot by a bullet. It's Las Vegas. Weird things happen, and maybe I should specify what I saw was not shell casings. It was more shotgun shells. But I think people, they go out there, they shoot their gun or whatever. It's not really in a unpopulated area, so it's not really a safe place to shoot. But there were bullets and shells found on top of the stage, and those are 9mm. Yeah, security typically is. I would be interested to find out if those were. And where are you seeing that, Heaven's Gate? Where did you get that information from? Yeah, Al and I agree. I mean, with so many officers running around, and especially if they were diving for cover and they have extra magazines on their belt, it's totally possible that one would, fall off their belt, the bullets would spill or something like that. Those would be unfired rounds, though. If they were fired, if there were empty shell casings found, that would be something else. I haven't seen any new info on the Ogden yet. I'm still going through the documents, Jay. Yeah, let me know, Heaven's Gate. I don't know exactly what it is that you're referring to, but I haven't seen anything that made me think that there were bullets fired within the venue anywhere. Although I did read something about a broken magazine and bullets somewhere in the venue, and I think those were spilled by an officer. The other thing I noticed when reading the here, let me pull up. I'm going to pull up a different document here. Let me see what happens. Or let me, just make that screen go away. Let me share this one. Okay, so this is the voluntary statements, and these are from people that were in the venue. One thing I noticed when going through this, which I thought was interesting, was a lot of the written statements. A lot of these written statements mention in them that they were victims or their life was somehow impacted. So I do wonder if they also, LVMPD, held these records because of concern about lawsuit. A lot of people will say, I'm not, one of them said, and I wasn't injured physically, but, I've been in therapy or whatever. A lot of them seem to indicate that they were impacted in some way other than just being there and being traumatized. Hi, Sleep. Nothing new. Just going through the evidence and saying hi to everybody. How long have I been going? Let's see. Been going for about 40, coming up on 45 minutes here. Probably cut it here pretty soon. Yeah, Sleep. We're just talking about Wednesday's info a little bit. Just kind of general chat, chilling on my couch. Laptop is on my lap. Windows open. You can hear the party that's going on outside my place. I haven't seen anything conclusive about that shell casing found in the bathroom at Aria, Jed. The one seen in the body cam. I suspect that one was also an unfired bullet. I don't think it was a spent shell casing. That would be my suspicion. But, it's Las Vegas. It's a big city. People do get shot in bathrooms here. People get shot a lot more than I would have, is reported nationally for sure. Plenty of crime here. Yeah, Hunter says some are duplicated. Yeah, I think he's talking about some of these reports. Yeah, some are duplicated from the original records. I think some are also were typed out originally, and then these are handwritten. Second family, sleep. Yeah, it's been weird since it's been quiet. More people started calling me by my normal name than Weg, but for a while it was like I started to identify as Weg. It was like most everybody that I talked to called me that for a little while. Obviously not during my day job, but outside of my job. Chrissy asks, Weg, do you think they will reopen this case, or do you think they will just let it ride the way it is? Well, there's no criminal case open because the perpetrator to them is dead. So do I think that they will continue to investigate? No. I think they're done. Honestly, I think LVMPD wants to put it all behind them. Like I said, Judd, I don't think anybody knows conclusively what that showcasing was in the bathroom. And I think Alan's right. I think it was in Paris. Civilians who carry guns could have dropped rounds also. Yes. 1000750. I agree with that. There were, there were civilians that had guns in their cars. It's totally possible somebody grabbed their gun, came out. If you remember the Dan Bilzerian video, he was hungry for a gun. And I guarantee you he's the kind of person that if he had one in his car, he would have went and grabbed it and, tried to help. I'm not sure if that would have been a good thing or a bad thing, but he seems like the type. And I'd be hard pressed to say I wouldn't be in the same boat if I had a firearm in my car and that was going on. Would I have went and grabbed it? Perhaps. To protect myself and my loved ones, I think I probably would have. Page 85 of the batch 35 you posted. There's 11 documents, Heaven's Gate. I need to know which document you're speaking of. Oh, I see. You're probably scrolling through it on archive.org. If you download all 11 documents on that same page, you'll know which document it is that you're speaking about, because there are actually 11 of them. But when you pull up archive.org, I think it kind of displays them all as it's not clear that there are multiple documents. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep up with chat, but it's going fast. A lot of novice gun owners touch their guns far too often. Do you mean use their guns too often, Alan? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but Bilzerian would have dropped ammo. Maybe. I don't know. There's videos of him online using firearms. He seems pretty knowledgeable. Very interesting person, to say the least. This is my comment. Said, didn't Dan say he was a cop? He said he was an honorary sheriff, or somebody can maybe correct me on the lingo there, something like that. Kind of like Elvis was honorary FBI or CIA or something like that. Yeah, he was like a citizen member of the cops to some extent. Dan Bilzerian. It looked like Bilzerian stole a badge out of the car. I'd have to go back and look. I don't remember that. He was looking for a gun, that's for sure. It's labeled homicide, mass shooting. Yeah, it was a homicide, but from the moment the investigation started, the perpetrator was already dead. LBSA pointed out earlier that the investigation or the court case for the evidence is still remains open. So there's that angle of it that we might see some action taken on, especially if the lawyers look through these documents and notice all of the evidence that still hasn't been released. They're going to want to get their hands on that. The lawyers for the victims, because they're trying to prove negligence on the part of MGM, and anything that shows that will be helpful to them. Bilzerian needs to stop the steroids. He's pretty ripped. I haven't seen him out in Vegas here, but I will continue to look. I don't think we run in the same circles. There was a robbery and a shootout last week. I don't know if that made national news, but a gentleman who had robbed the Bellagio previously tried to rob the Bellagio again. He robbed the poker cage, the cash cage by the poker room, and then proceeded to try to make an escape out through the valley at the back of the Bellagio, not towards Las Vegas Boulevard, but the back, and ended up in a shootout with police. Some bike cops were out there, 3 bike cops. Ended up in a shootout with them. He shot one of the bike cops in his bulletproof vest, kind of skimmed across his bulletproof vest, and one of the bike cops shot him back in the face and ended up killing him. I don't know if that makes national news, but that's the kind of thing that happens here. I don't know if it's on the reg, but it's fairly often. And they released body cam. They released just a couple days after that, they released body cam. They released surveillance footage from inside the Bellagio. You know, all in short order within a couple days. Jay Leal asks, do you think someone shot pellets that night? No, I don't. There's no evidence of that, or people saying, like Campos saying he thought he was shot by a pellet gun. There's been no video evidence, nothing else that shows that there were pellets. The type of bullets that were used and the distance they were, all that stuff, the people that got hit in the venue, a lot of the bullets fragmented very easily. And so a lot of people were caught by shrapnel that could have seemed like it was a pellet, but there's been no evidence of pellets that I've seen, other than Campos saying he thought he got shot by a pellet gun. Heaven's Gate, you need to give me the name of the document. There's no batch 35, page 85, because there's 11 documents in batch 35. Yeah, For United States says that there was more than one person claiming they were shot by pellets after hearing full auto fire. I mean, to somebody that doesn't know what a bullet wound looks like, I can see them thinking that they got hit by pellets, especially if they got hit by shrapnel or a fragmented bullet. Alan says, I see you're starting to attract the crazies now. Bingo must have finished for the day. Yeah, I think that, look, I mean, we're all at different places in this investigation, right? Like, we've all done differing amounts of work, from some people that are just very casually interested that will come and visit here, to those that have really dug in deep to this and spent, hundreds, if not, thousands of hours on this. So, I have great compassion for, well, not maybe compassion isn't the right word to say it, but I have great understanding for those people that have been casually interested, that have watched a couple videos, especially if they're older videos, and there's a lot of talk about like pellets or dummies being used or things like that. And so just I think it's in our best interest for those that have spent tons of hours on this to help get those people up to speed, give them the videos to go watch, say, don't peg them as crazy or anything like that. They're just in a different stage of the investigation, whereas a lot of us have already gone through doing a lot of due diligence on those particular theories. I think the more people that we can get, that we can bring, I don't want to say bring into the fold, maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but the more people that we can bring up to speed onto where the investigation is today, then the more beneficial they will be to the community, because then they'll be where we're at, helping with the things that we're, the current things that we're interested in. I know that's a little bit more work to try to bring those people up to speed, but I think it's in our best interest to do so, especially as like interest has waned with the investigation. A lot of people have moved on. There have been a number of different shootings, large scale shootings since then. So anybody that's gotten interested, I think it's great if we can bring them up to speed. It would be awesome if somebody could make like an all-encompassing video that is like, here's how we got to here, and bring people up to speed and addresses every theory that's been out there and why we know maybe that theory's not likely, or highly unlikely would maybe be a better way to say it. The new PDF says crime scene personnel covered Stephen Paddock's hand with preservation bags. Interesting, MF. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't gotten to that document, but I suspect they did that so they could test his hands for like gunshot residue, but I haven't seen those tests. Definitely like to see those if they perform those. And he was wearing gloves too, so I'm curious if they put the bags over his gloves as well. A lot of these documents also talked about how, or a number of these, maybe 2 or 3 of them, where when Stephen Paddock went in to purchase firearms, that he was wearing gloves on some of the occasions. I don't know about you. I don't work in a gun store, but if somebody comes in wearing like museum gloves, somebody called them like museum gloves, I would find that very weird. I don't know if they can report it, but you know, I think that would be interesting. That would just be weird. Because why do you wear gloves to handle a gun unless it's to prevent fingerprints? And I know Stephen Paddock was OCD to some extent. Maybe he just didn't want to get the guns dirty, but I find that odd. Jonathan McGuigan, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, says John E. Hoover has done some interesting work too. I don't disagree with you. Some of the work that he's done is interesting. I'm not a proponent of the helicopter theory, but what I think he's done that has value from my perspective is that he's kept interest there. I don't know if the interest has been in the right direction, or in the direction that I would have taken it, but he's definitely, kept some interest. Yimmy the Greek has said LBMPD has shown no proof of anything they've said on their narrative. I couldn't agree with that completely. I wouldn't say no proof. They've provided quite a bit of evidence. Have they provided the full amount of evidence that they have so that we can, check their work? Absolutely not. They have not done that. Judd says I want to see the residue tests also. Yeah, I think that would be good. 100750 says those gloves would be horrible for the shooting. I agree. They look too thick to handle a firearm wearing. I wouldn't want to try to shoot a firearm wearing those big gloves, but at the same time, they might have helped to prevent blistering. If you're going to fire that many rounds with a bump stock, wearing some thick gloves might be helpful. You're not so concerned about having. Okay, if I was Paddock, then I could see, and I had his intentions to carry out the shooting and all that stuff. I think the gloves might actually make sense because it would prevent blistering, and you're not so concerned with having a very like well-tuned trigger pull. You're more concerned about aiming the gun with a bump stock and then being able to sustain multiple trigger pulls. But would I even be able to pull a trigger over 1,000 times in 10 minutes without without having my finger cramp? I don't know. I don't think I would. But we don't know if he practiced firing a whole bunch of rounds or not. LBSA is back. All right, welcome back, bro. Hi, Bear. I am Two Bear. Hunter says, when the drama is finished, I will release them, talking about his some private videos that he's made. Hi, Discerning. Alan says gloves were about him not wanting to be in contact with cleaning chemicals. Yeah, but then why did he wear gloves into gun stores? Because that's what these reports. When you get to this, through all the documents, you'll see that there are a couple of gun stores that talk about him wearing gloves inside the gun store, which is weird. I am Two Bear says, love the lack of drama. Yep, this is a no drama zone. As best as I can manage. Jonathan McGuigan says, I've seen 2 clips of muzzle flash coming from the 5th floor. There was a strobe light around that floor. That might be what you're talking about. That was determined to just be a strobe in a room. It was not muzzle flashes, if that's what you're referring to. There are, however, some, at least 2 videos that I'm aware of that show muzzle flashes coming from 32-134. And we have smoke pouring out of the window during the shooting, showing in at least 1 video from 32-135. Some people have said that's fake. We only have 1 video of it, so it hasn't really been corroborated by any other videos, if that's what you're referring to. And that got laid to rest quite early in the investigation, that it was a strobe light. And some of the reports even mention that. Wore gloves while carrying Haig's ammo box. That's true. Yep. He liked to put on gloves. I don't question that he put on gloves. He did put on gloves. What I find interesting is that it didn't cause alarm to the gun store owners to be like, hey, maybe this guy's looking to commit a crime because he's wearing gloves when he comes in. But I don't know how common that is. I don't work in a gun store. Maybe that's common for people that want to, preserve the mint condition of a gun for resale or something like that. Lots of good conversation here, guys. Thanks. And thanks for keeping it drama-free. Yeah, Heaven's Gate. Let me read your comment here, because this is something I thought about recently. Heaven's Gate says, I could never understand why a person who sets out to do so much damage to a crowd would need that many guns and ammo. Makes no sense. And I've thought about this a little bit. So I agree. Like, why would you need so many guns? But if you look at it from Paddock's perspective, let's just say you're basically going on a suicide mission, or you're going to do as much damage as you can, and let's just say you have 20 plus firearms. Is there any reason why if you knew you could get them all into the hotel room, is there any reason why you wouldn't bring them all? You know what I mean? Like, why would you leave some at home? And I think that's kind of what explains it, is like, what good are they going to do at home? Could actually have use there. So he brought all his guns, all the ammo that he could, even ammo that he may not even use, he still had there, like the incendiary rounds, and I think armor-piercing rounds. So I think he just tried to get everything that he possibly could into the room, regardless of if he needed it or not. It's like, why would you not have it there? I hate putting my mind in in the mind of a, mass shooter, but I feel that's necessary a little bit to try to think through why he made certain decisions. Why he bought the vase and the fake flowers, I still don't understand. If anybody can shed some light on that. Maybe he planned on hiding the camera in it, but didn't end up doing that. I'm a little behind the comments. I'm trying to catch up here. If there's anything I missed that you wanted to tell me, please use the @ symbol and then my name, or you can put it all in caps so I don't miss it. And we're going to end here pretty soon as well. I think we're running over an hour now. Let me check. Yeah, a little bit over an hour. So maybe another 5 minutes and then we'll shut it down. And if you like these videos or these live streams, let me know. I can try to do these, once a week if there's value in it and you like getting people together here and it's a little bit less drama maybe than other places. I consider doing that more on a regular basis. I'd like to get LBSA here on the live stream with me at some point too. I think that would be fun. Fun for us, maybe not fun for you guys. Maybe even Eddie, he's in town too. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, I'll consider it. I think maybe on Fridays or Saturdays. Thanks, Kip. Appreciate it. If he was planning on a shootout, why kill himself? I've thought about that too. I think that from Paddock's perspective, I think things were closing in a lot quicker, and he wanted to. His brother Eric says that he was a control freak, and if he could control his demise over somebody else, maybe being injured and dying slowly or something like that, that he's the kind of person that would take that opportunity. And he wasn't far off if he actually did die when we suspect, between the last shots and the breach. I mean, the cops were closing in. They were getting pretty close. It was only a matter of time. And who knows, if the shooting had continued, it could have been sooner that they breached the room. We just don't know how they would have reacted to that. It would still be nice if you block Alan. As long as Alan, and he kind of knows this, as long as Alan isn't being abusive or trolling, I think it's fine that he's here. Just don't, here's the thing, like, and I've said this on past live streams, but it's a good reminder. And this is directed at Alan, but also it's directed to anybody. It's like, you can attack here. You can attack anybody's ideas, okay? Ideas are not the people. You can attack the ideas. Don't attack the people. If you want to be critical of somebody's theory on something or the question, that's fine. But being critical of a person, a person is not necessarily the theories that they have. Haunted by Haunted says, why was Paddock still worried about the player's card points before he was going to commit suicide? And Las Vegas Shooting Archive responded, without records of the points transactions, we won't know that necessarily to be true. But maybe he was not trying to attract attention to himself as he planned the mass shooting. I think that's possible. I think maybe he was trying not to cause suspicion, so he just carried on business as normal. That's one. Or the other possibility is that he didn't know he was going to commit the shooting up until the last moment. So maybe he was on the fence and he was just like, well, maybe he had brought guns into the Ogden as well and brought them out. So, maybe he had gone through this exercise before and he wasn't certain he was going to shoot it. He was going to carry it out. So he just continued to gather players' points in case he didn't. Heaven's Gate. He didn't need all those guns. But why not bring them? Why not bring all the guns in is my question. Why would he leave them at home? If you're going to carry it out, why not have every single gun you have, and all your pairs of gloves, and bring everything. Why not bring everything if he's going to carry it out? Hi, Ellie. Come here. My dog wants some attention. Sometimes when I'm just sitting here talking on the phone, she thinks that I'm talking to her. My dog. She's a little bit of a diva. Nothing Stephen Paddock did leading up to Sunday night fits what a suicidal murderer would have done, Don says. Yeah, except for bringing all the guns into the hotel. But I think all of his actions, at least what we've seen from the security footage, none of that screams, other than bringing the guns in, screams like, this guy's going to commit mass murder. But he would also, assuming he was planning on that, it would be in his best interest not to spook anybody, just to make it look like it's a normal visit to the Mandalay Bay, which he had done hundreds of times. Yeah, Alan says, if he knew he was going to die that night, just bring them all. And that's kind of what I think makes sense to me. Why he would have so many is like, just bring them all. If Mandalay Bay is not going to stop me from bringing in any guns, then why not bring all my guns and just have them all there ready to go in case I need them? And if I don't need them all, I don't need them all, but who cares? At least I had them all. That's, I think, what it may have gone through his mind. It's just strategically, it seems like the best decision to have. Like, if you can have everything available to you, you should have everything available to you. Yeah, he didn't bring them all. He brought the vast majority of them, Miss Dawn. I don't think that the number of guns in the hotel room, to me, indicates another motive like a gun sale, although it's curious. But at the same time, like I said, if somebody's planning a mass shooting and they're not going to be able to get their guns out of there, it's not like you would be able to escape and take all the guns, then why not have them all with him? LBSA says, I honestly think the number of guns and the sheer madness of the room was just Paddock's trolling us from the dead. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. He seemed like he was like a mean-spirited guy, when it came to certain people, just the way he treated others, and it seems in line with what I would expect from knowing what I know about him, which is not much, but from Eric and from really, I guess, mainly from Eric's stuff. Chrissy asks what kind of dog my dog is. She's a greyhound. She's a rescue greyhound. Yeah, Alan says crazy people do crazy things. I mean, I agree with that. Like he says amassing amount of ammo showed he wasn't normal. Right? He wanted to bring in as much artillery as he could. I don't think the number of guns, and the amount of ammo, to me, indicates anything in particular, except for that Stephen Paddock was an obsessive person that was an over planner, and he planned, you know, to have all the guns in there, as many as he could, because why not? And there were certain things that clearly weren't planned out fully, like the gas mask and stuff like that, where he kind of had to get something together quickly. It seems. And we should just be thankful that he wasn't able to use all those guns and all the ammo for whatever caused him to die when he did, or to stop shooting when he did. And I, for one, am thankful for that. It could have been much worse. Could have been much worse if he got those fuel tanks to blow off. I mean, Vegas would be. I guarantee Vegas would have a different landscape financially with tourism and stuff like that if those fuel tanks had gone off. I mean, it just would have been insanely catastrophic. Even if the fuel tanks going off didn't cause a bunch of additional people to die, just the sheer, giant explosion happening, that would have, shaken the ground in Vegas. The whole city would have been running, not just people from the venue. LVSA says, Don, I don't think Eric is trustworthy either. I think, in my opinion on Eric is take what he says for face value. Take it with a grain of salt. He has one perspective of Stephen, and it just happens to be a personal perspective, and he's given us more personal perspective than really anybody else, because he was closer really to him than anybody else that's spoken. Now, if we had interviews with Mary Lou Danley, that might be quite a bit different, but we don't. So he's really the best we have as far as like information on Steven's personality and whatnot. So, and Eric's entitled to his own opinion and his own theories as well. He's come out and stated he thinks that Paddock was bent on, paying back the casinos for causing him financial pain, and that's the theory he's gone with. Gosh, guys, I really wanted to shut the stream down, but there's a lot of good conversation being had right now. I think I'm still going to do it here in a few minutes. I do have things I need to do today, but Go away. Okay. Good girl. Go away. You're in the way. There we go. Yeah, the Patsy theory is interesting. I don't think that's been completely laid to rest yet. It would have been a very difficult escape for somebody if there was somebody in 135, but we also we didn't see all of 135 after the breach. So maybe there wasn't somebody that escaped from there. Maybe they were still in there. That's the only thing I can think of. Or maybe there was a gap of time for them to escape, but it was very, very slim. I mean, imagine this. If somebody went in there and took out Paddock, perhaps they had a room just down the hall, and so they didn't have to escape out of the hallway. They just had to escape into the other room and then pretend to be a regular, hotel guest, and leave when they were planning on. And all they had to do was pop in there, take out Paddock, or maybe they went in there and committed the shooting. Popped in there, took out Paddock, went in there, commit the shooting, and then just went back to their hotel room. Unfortunately, we don't have video of the hallway. No surveillance videos exist because they don't have surveillance cameras in those hallways, or didn't at the time at least. Hunter says, "Hey, Weg, don't forget we are having a beer." Yes, yeah, planning on it. We can do a live stream when you're in town too if you want. Be a good opportunity. Page 84 on the first PDF. Okay, let's bring this up. We'll look at it, and then we're going to end the stream. 84. So the first PDF is the October Crime Scene Investigative Report, I think. Is this one? Let me just pull it up on the screen here. All right, you should be able to see the screen now. Let me go to page 84. Is this the right page? Okay, and what am I looking for? Store clerk interview. This looks like a summary to me. Is this the right document or not? It's page 84 here. October 1 officers report. Oh, okay. Let me pull up that one. Share the screen here. Sure. Okay. So this was on October 1st at the essential store Luxor. Joanna recalled entering the store. She said Stephen entered the store about 1600 hours and asked her if they specifically sold charging cables, and Joanna advised that they did not have charging cables in the store and showed them, or they did have charging cables in the store and showed him where they were located. Joanna also said that Stephen continued to converse with her specifically, but did not purchase anything at that time. As Stephen continued to converse with Joanna, he began asking her about Route 91 event and was specific in asking her if there were lots of people that attended the event, and Joanna replied yes. And then he started to ask her questions about Life is Beautiful, just referencing if that event had taken place about a couple of weeks ago, and Joanna replied yes. Stephen continued to converse with Joanna, now asking personal questions referencing her nationality, specifically if she was Filipino and if she was married. Joanna then asked Stephen if he had a girlfriend or married, and he said no, he was not. Following the brief interaction, Stephen advised Joanna that he would probably be back later for the charges if he needed them, and then left the store. Several hours later, that is when the incident occurred, and the following day, Monday, October 2nd, Joanna recognized Stephen Paddock's photo from the news to be the same person that entered the store on both Saturday and Sunday, and also recognized the name from the identification he presented, along with his credit card and room number from the MLife card used for the discount. Later in the week, Joanna was speaking to other employees of Luxor who worked at another store called 24/7, and that employee identified Joanna as Arlene Escura, said that Stephen also entered her store sometime early Sunday evening. There was no further information regarding that interaction. Joanna did not have any contact numbers for her coworkers, Chantel or Arlene. No further information. What am I looking for here? Oh, I kind of skipped over this part. Joanna recalls Paddock entered the store on Saturday around 1600 hours. Stephen entered the store and inquired with Joanna about how long the store would be open, and she advised Stephen that the store stays open 24 hours. Later that evening on Saturday, Stephen went back to the store and purchased 2 eyeglass repair kits and attempted to charge it to his room and was unsuccessful, and then used his credit card as well as player's card to receive a discount on his purchases. Joanna also recalled that the player's card had the name Mary Lou Danley on it. Joanna also said that she noticed that Stephen's Nevada identification card had a Mesquite address on it, and she asked him if he was on a staycation, and he replied yes for about 2 days. He had a Luxor hotbox in his room. Is Joanna one of the 3 girls? No, I don't think so. It was Laura. Or was it Joanna? It was Joanne. Was it Joanne? I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, I think it was Joanne. Not Joe. This is more Johanna. Johana, spelled here, and then down here it's spelled Johanna. So it's 2 different spellings in the same document. Yeah, they're both owned by MGM, and I'm sure they share pieces. So just because the food cart had Luxor logo on it, I don't think that they necessarily pulled it from Luxor that day. They might have just been in their inventory from Luxor previously. They might have, but I don't think it means anything specifically. Katie, Laura, and Joanne. Thanks, Ariana. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the stream now. I really appreciate everybody joining. We'll do another one again soon, hopefully. And keep the conversation going. Steer clear of drama when you can. I really do appreciate everybody hanging out with me on this Saturday. And we will chat again soon. Like I said, if you do spot anything, feel free to pass that along to those that are making videos so that they can maybe publish if it's something monumental. All right. Appreciate it. Yep. Take care, guys. Bye.